Hello friend, and welcome to the slowest sim driving channel on YouTube. You join us at the Red Bull Ring for round 7 of our Volkswagen ID.R Endurance Championship. Right now it's tight at the top between John Boy and Tweetman. They're both going to be battling as hard as they can to win this championship. It's open right now, either of them could win it. But other drivers can of course come in and spoil the party. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and let's get racing. McFlurry's put his car on pole, then Chim Chaser second, Tweetman, John Boy, myself and Dr. Pepsi, and we are away for 45 minutes around the Red Bull Ring. These cars, electrically powered, and there isn't actually enough power in them to get them halfway through the race, and yet they're only allowed to make one pit stop. So expect to see a lot of slipstreaming, a lot of lifting and coasting, energy saving any way they can. There's no playing with engine maps on these cars. It's all about driving style. And McFlurry misses his braking point there and hits Chim Chaser. So that's a really rough start there for McFlurry, who's now down in last place. Oh, it's such a good start as well, such a great qualifying session. That was Tweetman into the lead of the race, which John Boy's not going to be pleased to see, but Chim Chaser there coming back into the lead. And also myself in third place. That doesn't happen very often. Oh, but Chim Chaser's dropped it. He's dropped the back end of the car, and that's promoted John Boy to third place. So already Tweetman and John Boy showing their intentions, which is to go as fast as possible and win, obviously. But we do know that rain is forecast. As I said, there's only one pit stop allowed, so you can't go too soon. John Boy lining up the Grandpa-mobile. Doesn't find a way through there. Was experimenting with a different livery for this race. Ended up not really liking it that much, so didn't stick with it. But you know, there you go. You've got to try new things, haven't you? So we start the second lap of 30. Tweetman, myself, Dr. Pepsi behind John Boy, then McFlurry and Chim Chaser at the back. So I've got a great slipstream train forming. Dr. Pepsi perhaps using a little bit more energy to catch back up to the group as John Boy sends it. He's going around the outside. I think he almost got Tweetman as well. He did for a moment, but John Boy got it too far out and then onto that yellow sausage curb, which is going to slow him right down. But he does use a little bit of extra power, force his way into the lead. He's going to want to control the pace of this race. Tweetman, another driver, likes to control the pace of the race. He's coming through back into first place. So great battling already, but this is going to prevent them from scampering away too quickly and keep the rest of the pack with them. You can see the wings there at the back moving as people activate and deactivate their DRS. So these cars have a lot you can fiddle around with. Oh, we've got a penalty there for Tweetman, and that's going to put him right off, but not in this particular lap. It's going to be next lap he takes that penalty. It's Dr. Pepsi there coming through in the other Ascuri car. Can he make it? No, he can't quite. Forced to go tight. He lost his momentum, and that's just left him high and dry. Looks like Tweetman's got a good run on John Boy as we head down towards the hairpin. Goes to the inside. Even though he's got that penalty, Tweetman wants to control the pace of the race. He's got his own calculations. Everyone's got their own calculations for how much energy they're using and when they want to pit. So Tweetman wants to make sure everybody's working to his calculations, of course. If the rain does come, it's going to change the race completely, and the drivers need to be thinking about when they can pit, because they've got to use the energy they've got for that second stint. It's John Boy now in the lead, myself second, Dr. Pepsi in third, Tweetman in fourth. Tweetman probably going to use a little bit of extra power. Try and get back into the lead and then slow the pack down. That is his style. Is his Ascuri teammate ahead of him going to help? Well, he's helping right now by sucking him along, but besides that, I don't know what he can do to help right now. And Dr. Pepsi perhaps won't make this pass too difficult for Tweetman. Or will he? I think there could be no team orders at Ascuri. No, Dr. Pepsi there not getting out of the way. So Tweetman with his work cut out for him. In fact, McFlurry there catching up to the pack. Oh, Dr. Pepsi with a penalty for the incident at the previous corner where he went wide. I didn't really think he was going to get a penalty for that, but he did. So McFlurry on the back, Chim Chaser not too far behind, so the pace of this race not incredibly high. It could be a case that the drivers are trying to use as little power as possible to make their first stint as long as possible so that they can predict what's going to happen with the weather. Dr. Pepsi will be out of Tweetman's way in just a moment, I think, because we're approaching the penalty line, and Dr. Pepsi with an entire second of slowdown. The only upside of that is that a second he can be saving a little bit of energy. So Tweetman back up into third place. And there's a Grandpa Mobile sticking with first place. You don't really see that very often. So drink it in, enjoy it. I'm sure it won't last. In fact, that's the fastest lap of the race so far. So perhaps using a little bit more energy than it should be, but you know what it's like when you can see first place. You get the slipstream, you get all excited, and you start putting your foot down. So John Boy there in first place, dragging along the Grandpa Mobile, and well, purple again. So steady on, Grandpa, you're using too much energy. You need to be taking deep breaths, playing the long game. In the background there, Dr. Pepsi a little bit wide again. And got a move on almost. No, not quite. A little bit of a look, perhaps a fake out, selling a dummy, but it wasn't something that John Boy wanted to buy. He didn't leave his line. He knows better than that. Of course, most of the drivers not on full throttle during this race, for the vast majority of it, so John Boy could have seen that car coming behind him and just put his foot down a little bit harder. Tweetman beginning to catch up, but he's dragging Dr. Pepsi and McFlurry with him. Tweetman with a good run at second place. Doesn't happen. Behind McFlurry, moving up into fourth place. Oh, Dr. Pepsi and McFlurry side by side through the first corner. Very brave stuff. And the two of them are still almost side by side, but it's Dr. Pepsi who loses out to McFlurry. He made that place stick. Tweetman goes for the move. No, he doesn't pull it off. There's too much momentum in the Grandpa car, and that's left Tweetman to figure out ways to do that again. So desperate to get into the lead and just get back on with his calculations. Here we go again. Tweetman up the inside. No, he couldn't do it on the tighter line, and that's put him under pressure from McFlurry in fourth place. McFlurry in that yellow machine, which really does stand out from the crowd. And Dr. Pepsi there as well. Chim Chaser a little way back, perhaps a couple of seconds. He can, if he uses a little bit more energy, just catch up to this group and then start slipstreaming behind. You can just see him in the background there, so he's doing well to recover after that first incident. The cars all very close on pace in this championship. Probably down to the fact that everyone's trying to save as much energy as possible. It's only really towards the end that you'll see drivers start to absolutely gun it when they know exactly how far they've got to go and how much energy they need for it. Tweetman once again gets his foot down, going for second, gets squeezed by myself, so sorry about that, Tweetman, but didn't want it to come through. But the pass, is it on? It's on. Tweetman slips through into second place. That's myself down to third, and up ahead John Boy with a 1 second penalty for track limits violation. So all that work he's done to get ahead of Tweetman is about to become undone at the penalty line. Oh, it's undone even more because John Boy is off. He's off the track and Tweetman takes the lead of this race. John Boy tumbling down the order at a track that he really needs to perform well if he wants to win this championship. So John Boy with a penalty as well. Well, that's not what he wanted. Let's see, can he stay ahead of Chim Chaser, because Chim Chaser has used enough energy to catch back up. Dr. Pepsi trying to make a move on John Boy there as his tyres are dirty. But now John Boy down to last place. So Tweetman now leads this race. Myself second with a penalty, unfortunately, and then McFlurry. Tweetman goes defensive, trying to shake off that slipstream. And go 2 by 2 into turn 1. Just backing up a little bit, and then McFlurry trying to send it as well. McFlurry not quite getting through. At this point, absolutely sticking with Tweetman to use that slipstream, try to undo this half-second penalty, or at least undo some of the damage from it. Look how far back John Boy is now. Trying to go around the outside there for first place, but it didn't happen, and then a bit of a biff from McFlurry as well, which has slowed him down and put him into the grips of Dr. Pepsi, who also has a half-second penalty. Well, it's a close one, this one. We don't normally see all the cars bunched up like this in this particular championship. It's great to see. Chim Chaser going up the inside of McFlurry. Chim Chaser on it. He's thinking about a short first stint and a long second stint, I think, in his car. And we're about to see a few changes of position. I think was Dr. Pepsi wide there? No, he didn't go wide. Okay. So the first penalty would be mine. Surely would mean Chim Chaser is going to come through, and he does. And McFlurry as well. Dr. Pepsi, does he lose out to John Boy? He does. Dr. Pepsi go down to last place. Tweetman having everything his own way right now. Chim Chaser, the wild card, could interfere with that. He won't interfere with the points, but he'll interfere with Tweetman's race if he starts attacking him. McFlurry, who was so fast in qualifying, he's good around here. McFlurry, and as you can see, he's reeling back in these top two drivers and dragging along an old man with him. John Boy, Dr. Pepsi's got another penalty, so Dr. Pepsi's not going to make any real inroads here. Tweetman there went defensive, and Chim Chaser went around the outside. He was very lucky to not get a track limits penalty. He managed to just keep it in the lines as McFlurry attacks Tweetman. Lots of position changes in this race already. It's hard to know where to look. Could throw a blanket over the top four right now. You'd have to 9 laps. Chim Chaser, Tweetman, McFlurry and myself, and then John Boy and Dr. Pepsi with a 2-second penalty, so Dr. Pepsi in a lot of trouble right now. He's going to have to hope for some serious 4-car pile-up at the head of the field. McFlurry going defensive. We're going to try and go around the outside of him. Side by side across the finish line. 3rd place there, move made, but how much energy was used in that manoeuvre? Well, it would have been more than we'd wanted to use, that's for sure. Up ahead, Tweetman just sitting in Chim Chaser's slipstream right now, saving energy, making it easier for his car to just pass through the air. McFlurry there coming back, oh, but up ahead, Tweetman having a look. McFlurry backed off, back to Tweetman, who is definitely intending on getting past Chim Chaser and restoring his lead there. Oh no, didn't quite make it. Tweetman was just a little bit too far back. Chim Chaser took his line. No need for any heroics or massive blocks there. But Chim Chaser doing a great job in this race. There's a penalty there. I thought I saw the Grandpa Mobile wander outside the lines. That's going to be served next lap. Tweetman having a look up the inside of Chim Chaser. Didn't quite happen. Chim Chaser doing a great job of just driving his race, making Tweetman do all of the work. Of course, when you're at the head of the field though, you are using the most power, so we can expect to see Chim Chaser come in perhaps a little earlier than some of the other drivers. Oh, Chim Chaser picked up a penalty from the first corner, so Chim Chaser with a half-second penalty. Tweetman sends it. Tweetman up into the lead on lap 11. Got some tyre spill going on there. All the cars now starting to burn through their tyres. As we get to the halfway point of the race, the tyres will be absolutely shot. McFlurry looking feisty. Oh, but Chim Chaser went out wide, and that's allowed me to go through. Is Chim Chaser going to come back? Oh no, he's lost position there briefly to McFlurry. And McFlurry may jump up in 2nd place when we hit the penalty line. There we go, penalties being served. McFlurry up into 3rd. Can he get 2nd? He can't. So McFlurry up into 3rd place. He's trying to score all the points he can to try and catch up with these guys at the front, but he's not going to catch up while Tweetman is in the lead, because Tweetman taking maximum points could put him out of the reach of everybody except for John Boy in the championship. McFlurry lining up a move, tucked under that rear wing. No, not this time. This time McFlurry just opting to keep his powder dry, not make any major risks, or take any risks rather. But speaking of risks, this is a Grandpa attacking Tweetman for the lead of the race. There was no move really on there, but definitely would be filling the mirrors on that car if it had any. No mirrors on these cars, which was great for me because I was in VR. So I had no idea what was happening behind me except for what was happening on the radar. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Looking for a move on Tweetman, but that half-second penalty, well, don't need that. But it's up into the lead for the Grandpa Mobile, and then gone again. And we go down onto the main straight in the lead of this race. Briefly, this is one of the best I've done at one of these ID.R events. Tweetman looks to the inside, thinks better of it. Tweetman staying in second, and that's put him under pressure from McFlurry now. So McFlurry wanted to score more points than Tweetman. I think it's pretty much over for me in this championship, but not for McFlurry. And I can hear rain. The rain is coming down, and well, this could trigger pit stops, but it's not halfway through the race yet. So the driver's only got one pit stop and need to be thinking about their energy. Is anyone going to pit? The rain doesn't seem particularly heavy. The track isn't going dark yet, so I think everyone will stay out. Got to try and make the energy last as long as possible. Of course, in the rain you do drive a little bit more carefully, so there's less energy used there. Maybe somebody can start pitting as early as lap 14 and get away with it. So I think the rain has stopped again. It's just a little bit of drizzle. Tweetman goes back into the lead of the race. The man in command, as he likes to be. Perhaps the moisture just... oh no! The moisture scaring people. That's a tag in the back from McFlurry, sending the car out wide. All that work, all that effort, gone. John Boy, by the way, diving into the pits. There's his pit crew waiting for him. He's going to be coming out on some sort of wet weather tyres. Let's see what else is happening. Yes, Chim Chaser also opting to pit at this point, so perhaps a little bit early, but you can see by the spray and the sheer lack of control, this is a tricky situation. The rain has suddenly come very, very hard. McFlurry off. Dr. Pepsi was also off, and with a big penalty, and McFlurry struggling to get that car to even move. Using a lot of energy there. John Boy coming out on the full wet tyres. Well, there goes John Boy on his full wet tyres, up into 4th place already. The drivers who are out now have got a big issue. John Boy with more grip, but of course this means that other drivers are going to have more energy at the end of the race. But a car off, that's Dr. Pepsi. Chim Chaser also coming out on full wet. Oh, Dr. Pepsi gets reset. I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing for him. Here comes John Boy approaching McFlurry for 3rd place. Oh, John Boy there just misjudged his braking. That corner tricky in the dry, so even trickier in the wet. John Boy up to 3rd place. Is this a masterstroke by John Boy? Will he have enough energy to make it to the end? That's the question. Dr. Pepsi is mowing the grass. Surely now John Boy is going to get past Tweetman in the pits, because Tweetman struggling, dawdling around the track. Got a car around the back. Oh, that's me. Oh, Tweetman, can he get it stopped? He does, gently with the brakes. Tweetman goes into the pits as John Boy sweeps past the pit entrance. So John Boy, well, this could have been an absolute master stroke of predicting the weather by John Boy. Surely there's no way Tweetman can come out anywhere near John Boy. John Boy's about to go to the pit exit. Tweetman has only just arrived in his stall and he's still got to recharge the car. McFlurry coming into the pits. Chim Chase moved up into 3rd. But he's still struggling even with the full wet tyres. Is Chim Chase going to go ahead of Tweetman is the question. Oh, so it's a 2-second penalty, so that might be a little bit academic really. Tweetman just leaving his pit stall now on full wets in P3. McFlurry, not Pepsi, still in the pits. The Grandpa Mobile hasn't even made it to the pit lane yet. Really struggling in these conditions. So there is Chim Chaser with a 2-second penalty behind Tweetman. whatever happens here, unless one of them crashes, surely Tweetman is safe from Chimp Chaser. Oh, dicing with disaster on cold tyres. McFlurry and Dr Pepsi still remain in the pits, waiting to see what tyres are coming out on. McFlurry coming out on the full wets. So all of the drivers predicting it's going to be very, very bad. Dr Pepsi also on the full wets. And myself only just making it to the pit lane, about to be lapped even before pitting, so that is my race absolutely done. Chimp Chaser approaching the penalty line. Looks like he's got a good gap back to Tweetman though. Tweetman only just arrived at the penalty line, so Chimp Chaser looks safe for now. Chimp Chaser and Tweetman very close together with a back marker up ahead. There's no flag rules in this league. Oh, Chimp Chaser out very wide. Yeah, there's no flag rules in this league, so there's no reason to jump out of the way. Tweetman with a penalty, and the Grand Prix just staying ahead of these two. Chimp Chaser with a 1.5 second penalty, so as long as Tweetman can just stay ahead here, he can get the advantage. Just pushing that back marker out of the way. Excuse me. Not going into race because anything can happen in this race, so even the back markers are pushing hard. You never know who might have a major accident. Oh, Tweetman there, dropping the back end a little bit, under braking, manages to gather it up. But it looks as though Tweetman now in the right position. Of course, got that penalty, so he might lose out to the back marker again. That's going to be fresh in his mind, not something he wants to have happen to him. Tweetman takes his penalty. Does he stay ahead of the back marker? He does. So all Tweetman's got to do now is just keep racing the way he races. Chimp Chaser's lost a lot of time to him, and this could be Tweetman's second place solidified. Chimp Chaser very much sticking with Tweetman at the moment, not letting him get away. Chimp Chaser might be a wild card, but he wants to get the positions anyway, because that's what racers do. And is he lining Tweetman up for a move? Look how heavy the rain's coming down. It's absolutely torrential, and lots of spray, lots of standing water. Chimp Chaser going for the move around the outside. Doesn't quite manage it there. Back marker holding back, not getting involved in what is a fight for position. Chimp Chaser again lining up Tweetman, who goes defensive. Needs to be careful, there could be standing water on the inside of the corner. Chimp Chaser looking for a move around the outside. Doesn't quite pull it off. He decides to just hang on there, up and under and through into second place. So Tweetman now down to third. He's going to try and come back at him. No, he's not. So Tweetman, well, perhaps thinking about his energy more than he's thinking about his position, because the drivers, of course, did have to pit a little earlier than they wanted to because of the rainfall. Tweetman with a great run now on Chimp Chaser. Going to the inside. Chimp Chaser doesn't defend, and I think that's it. I think Tweetman's got the apex. No, Chimp Chaser with more pace around the outside. Oh, Tweetman nearly made the move. It just didn't come off, and he's going to have to sit back. Tweetman's doing his best to stick with Chimp Chaser. Oh, he's dropped the back end. Chimp Chaser around into the barrier, and that car going absolutely nowhere. Oh, Chimp Chaser was doing so well, and now he's struggling to engage reverse. It's all falling apart. Here comes McFlurry. Chimp Chaser still backing the car up, down in fourth place with Dr Pepsi. Dr Pepsi's coming, but I don't think he's going to be able to get past Chimp Chaser, who again is struggling to get that car moving. Down into fourth with a penalty as well. It's an absolute disaster for Chimp Chaser, who was running in second place. That's going to cheer Tweetman up, but it's not the way he'll want to get past. Disaster just keeps piling up for Chimp Chaser, who's dived into the pits. He's too low on energy to complete the race. So Chimp Chaser, well, he'll be disqualified from the final standings for that, unfortunately. Oh well, it went from bad to worse from what was a very promising start to the race. So that promotes Dr Pepsi to fourth place. It's going to promote myself to fifth. I've managed to unlap myself. But, well, it's one of those things, unfortunately. That's why it's endurance racing. Chim Chaser does speed back out into 5th, but he will be black flagged, unfortunately. So for him, this race is effectively over. It's been an eventful race. There was a lot of pack racing at the start of the race, but then the rain came and everybody's strategies went completely out of the window. John Boy took the gamble to pit early, and it's really paid off for him. So John Boy's going to be taking maximum points here today at Spielberg if he can just get this car to the end of the race without running out of energy. He's obviously going to be tight on it, having had a longer second stint, but he's made it work. And you can see John Boy crawling that car around now, not pushing at all. We can barely hear the motors. So John Boy must be so tight on energy that he's having to crawl. Well, even if he runs out, if he can just get the car over the line, he'll be good. He's even coasting down this hill just to get back onto the main straight. But after 30 laps of intense racing, John Boy takes the checkered flag and wins round 7 at the Red Bull Ring. Look how slowly he's going. Tweetman just about to come around the last corner. Oh, that rain really did mess things up for him. Oh, he's got a penalty at the end, but that'll be alright. Opens the DRS, crosses the line to take second place. Chim Chaser, of course, will be black flagged. Dr. Pepsi's had a race of very mixed fortunes, but he's going to be bringing the car home in 4th place, or effectively 3rd. McFlurry is effectively 4th. He's got very lucky though, because he's run out of energy completely, and luckily for him, I've already crossed the finish line and finished the race, so I won't be taking that place away from him. And there's the I'm out of energy as well. So congratulations to John Boy on an excellent victory. So here's the point standings, and as you can see, thanks to John Boy's win, there's just 4 points in it now between Tweetman and John Boy. And with a 7-point deficit between 1st and 2nd place for winning the races, this means that the championship will continue on to the next round at Barcelona. I hope you join us then, and until then, bye bye for now.